Some funky music, something something. And we should resume. Finding places and stuff. We were exploring the area, so let's go around here and let's give it that port as well. There's another one over there, so let's do that. See if we find anything around here. Oh, something there. Something here as well. Boat, perhaps. Middle of the night. Just turn. Oh, the flashing lights there. Some flashing lights here as well. Okay. Can't see it, it's probably a boat. Not sure if I'm seeing the point. Ooh. 99 health. I think that's just barnacles and stuff. There we go. Mary's Bay, it was a find. Very well. I guess if we want to teleport here, can cross land. Yeah, it's probably shallow over there. Ooh. This looks good. Breer Island Disc. There we are. Another. Your boat is now available. Something. My own boat. Isn't that nice? Let's go towards that place. Seems to be lots of traffic here. Anything around here? Let's see. Oh, something there. Did be discovered. Nothing around here. No, okay. There's definitely something there. Yeah, the Straits of something, probably. Oh no. Big B like a lighthouse, something. Go. First throw them there, see what they got. So fish prices. Not the best. Lobster prices. I don't know about the others. So this is the only boat you can buy here, the Scarlet. Ooh, she gets snow crabs. Interesting. Okay. Bar. Any? Ooh, some missions as well. Get the location of lobster 3 days ago. Sure. Pollock for free. Well, if it's for free. 3 days ago. I don't care. What about missions? Ah, another fast travel disabled mission. Interesting. Very interesting. We have our book. So we could read another chapter of Sleepyhead. Let's do it. But considering we haven't been here, let's skip time all the way to some... yeah, at least have some light. Also, maintenance. Let's buy some fuel. Let's repair our 1% damage. Cool. Lockport in 12 days. Travel to location marked on the map. That's cool. Lockport. Let's see. Where the hell is Lockport? Oh, all the way here. It's a long way, sir. It is a long way. It's going to take like, I don't know, 2 real hours or something. Well, we have more speed nowadays. And I think we still have the autopilot. And that's the way out over there. Can't stop me. 12 days, I'll be there in a week. Look at this speed, man. 26 knots, 27, 30, 44 knots. About 30. I'm ruining everybody's fishing, baby. Yeah, we'll hit the open sea and then we'll put the autopilot and maybe read a chapter. Oh, you know where we haven't been? It would be annoying to get here without fast travel, but it's not totally out of the way. I mean, it kind of is, but also isn't. I want to see this port over here. Oh yeah. It's like the last thing we need to explore, I think. That and maybe something here. The shallows. Nah. Put the autopilot to work towards this place. So we can go through here. Discover that thing. Autopilot maximum. Maximum. What's it doing? It says there here, the autopilot. It doesn't go as fast. Oh, the autopilot doesn't go as fast. Hitting like 30 knots. Or is it because the water is coming into this bay thing over here? That might be it. Are there buoys here? Maybe we should not hit that one? Moving. Yeah, let's not hit that thing. Oh, it's another ship. We can go That took a while to plan. We can go to our lovely view here. Mercury Seas. This little lighthouse. Didn't zoom out. Keep your feet up and just enjoy the ride. It's going to take a while. Also to get you there, it's going to take a while. I guess this would be like kicking your feet up. You're not even in a driver's seat. Oh, and in this one. Do, 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 do. Okay. We'll see what we can do. Okay, I'm back. Do, 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 ba, ba. Some funky music. Got myself my good old sleepyhead book. We are at chapter 3 last time. I have a bookmark from the Reader's Digest. I'm gonna get these here. Like a postcard or something. Free post. I don't think it's free post from where I'm coming from, buddy. George Clooney. I've worked harder on my friends than I did on my marriage. This is a snippet from the Reader's Digest, which apparently I should subscribe to and save 71%. Only £9 and 95. I don't know what they're pence. Plus £4 postage and handling. Don't miss an issue of Reader's Digest. Yes, we have to read this George Clooney's article. Is he still married? Maybe the book came with the... or the magazine came with a book or something. Maybe we should change the mood of the songs, the melodies. Let me see. Let me find something else. This is like a dark noir, something with lots of rain. Let me pick a different genre. Okay, jazz and blues would be good. Oh, there is a mood or there is a genre, so we could dark dramatic. How about dramatic? Let's see what we got here. Oh, not these again. Can pop be dramatic? No way. No way pop can be considered dramatic, man. And this isn't dramatic either. The hell? Hello, Peter. No. Dramatic muse sucks. Dramatic muse sucks. We'll find something else. Maybe dark. Maybe that's better. This is dark? The hell, YouTube? Yeah. Closer. Okay. We'll accept this one. Although it's a bit hip-hoppy. Hip-hoppity hop-hop. Okay. Well, we're on the map. Pretty good. We'll be there before you know it. Chapter 3. Thorn had been wrong about the summer. After a short fortnight holiday of his own, it had returned with a sticky vengeance, and the siren call of the laundrette could no longer be ignored. He was horribly aware of the smell coming off him as he sat sweating in Frank Gibble's office. They were talking about lists. Hey, cutie pie. Yep, Nethertail is going to read a tale. It's a disturbingly original thriller. That's what it says on the cover. It's like one of 3 books I have in English, so I'm gonna be reading this one. I'm fine. I'm fishing. I have a mission where I can't, like, time jump around like I usually do in this game. So we have to occupy our time somehow. How are you? How are the drawings? We're concentrating on doctors currently on the rotation in inner London, sir. Frank Keeble was only a year or 2 older than Thorn, but looked 50. This was more due to some genetic glitch than any kind of stress. The lads reckoned he must have started receding at about the same time he hit puberty. judging by the proximity of his hairline to the nape of his neck. However, hormones had left him that stimulated hair growth that had somehow been mistakenly rerouted to his eyebrows, which hovered above his bright blue eyes like great grey caterpillars. The eyebrows were highly expressive and gave him an air of wisdom that was, to put it kindly, fortunate. Nobody begrudged him this, but of luck, it was the least you could hope for when you looked like an overfed owl with alopecia. I'm good. I think I posted my Demon Slayer drawings in McGee's Discord. I don't know. Oh! Should check that out. Yeah, what the hell is my Discord? Getting better? That's great. That's great. You're still young. There is still blood in the veins. You can still achieve something. Make something of your life. Make something of your life. No. Pretty good. Still with the implied sexiness and stuff. The last one. Oh. What? Oh no. There's more. I was way behind. Oh yeah. What did you do with the 3D one? Did you manage to draw in 3D? I know that the 3D drawing looked like a pain in the butt. Depth, it's hard to do depth in them. It wasn't there, but I posted it now, of course. No, I hadn't been on... I hadn't been on his art, your art here thing. And, I like the mask one you did. That's pretty nice. The hell do we... There we go. I don't know, you should probably put them on DeviantArt or something. That's a bird? No, wait, that's a bird. It's a terrible bird. Super hard. Yeah. I used to draw in 3D, but not with like goggles and stuff. Using 3D Max or Blender. What's the one with the sculpting? Where you do sculpting? Forget. I used to import my like a model into that one, and then sculpt it. The sculpting would no, not Blender. The Blender is a free one. I don't know what the sculpting one, but it's not. I don't remember. It's not. It's not like in a 3D... What's it called? What's it called? Various models. It's like a... almost looks like a clay, 3D clay. You play with it. I'll find it. Yeah, Blender is a free one, but it's not for sculpting per se. You can do lots of stuff. ZBrush, I think it is. Yeah, ZBrush. Most definitely ZBrush. So you would make like a simple design, whatever, and then import it in ZBrush, and then you would give it like anything you wanted, like wrinkles, just to make monsters and stuff. Back in the day when I wanted to get hired for something like that. Anyway, you can put all sorts of weird and creepy like design things in it. Then you can make like a bitmap, a map of it, import it back, and it's not free now. A few jobs that were here in 3D modeling were for low poly modeling, or like games and stuff, and you can make like all sorts of depth maps, depths maps on the characters and stuff. It sort of fools the eye into thinking there's a bit more resolution to the polygons when there isn't. So there are all sorts of tricks like that. Best thing I got is Blender. Blender is pretty damn good. Blender is pretty damn good. Don't worry about that. I think in the industry standard, when I was going around, maybe it was 3D Max or games around here, and I don't think so. When it comes to modeling, Blender is as good as any of them, as Maya or as 3D Max or any of them. It's as good as any of them. The problem with it comes when rendering. 3D Max has a lot more rendering options, and it just looks better. The same model that you build in Blender, import it in Max, and it's going to look a whole lot better with the lighting effects and everything. So Blender is a great way for you to learn. It's hard to use, like really hard to use. I didn't find it that hard to use if you need like a tutorial to put you through all of them. You can't just jump into it like you would do with a drawing app. Like if you get Photoshop, land. Yeah, we're getting close to land. We're pretty close to this place. The autopilot is going to take us all the way here and discover that. Thank you very much. And don't even have a binocular. Binoculars! Cost me 25k, these goddamn binoculars. Or monocular, it has only one. Oh! Car! First time I see a car in this game. Would you know? Didn't even think the car existed. I did the research on YouTube. You need like a full tutorial. The tutorials that I would go, that was like from magazines. 3D Creator, I think it was called. 3D Creator magazine. I don't even know if they still exist. But those are pretty great. It depends how you are, you know. I'm more of a guy that likes to see the tutorial like written down and on you know, pages and stuff, rather than watching someone do it. I don't know. It seems it's more explained that way. It's just me. On Amazon, they might have some there. Yeah. Could probably find. Oh, cool. We found the thing. We found the thing, and it is a port. It is a port. Yes. Let's see what this port has to say. Oh, we can't speed. We can't speed there. Okay, calm down there. That's not. Let's see. Oh, it's right here. And just dock here. You're not picky. Well. Whoa. Did it stop? Who did it stop? Actually. Not that you're picky or not, you need like the best way to learn principles. You might end up learning the wrong way. You might get in the habit of doing stuff badly. It's good to see like a proper tutorial. I think even Blender even has a way you can map your keyboard to 3D Max's shortcuts and stuff, which would be the best thing. I think it would be like the best way to learn, because 3D Max is sort of the norm. That and Maya. Yeah. All the movies and all the games use them. No, there's like no movies made with Blender, no games. I mean, maybe some indie games are made with Blender, but mostly not. Yeah. The way I learned it, and I'm a failure, so you know, don't go with me. But I would like look at a problem. I would say, okay, I want to draw this. Let's say a house, or a person, or something. Ah, the United Kingdom of Great Britain. Hello. You guys are about to have a new Prime Minister. I think he's going to resign. Mr. Boris Johnson. So, people use Blender to make VR chat characters. Yeah, that's like... I don't know. It's unprofessional. So, figure something out, like you want to make a house or a character, or I don't know. But pick something simple. Maybe like a bottle or something. And then try to do it. When you hit a hurdle, look that thing up. Like that specific thing, you know. How do I extrude this mesh? How do I widen this thing? You know? And you write that down. Okay, that's how I do that, you know? And you move on. Okay, how do I render? How do I map things? How do I, you know, and you go step by step and you actually end up having a rendering of a thing. Let's see if we find something here in the town. Some bar, some crew for hire there. You know? Yeah. Good old Boris Johnson and his wild hair, man. Pips. We have some free lobster from last week locations. Excellent. Gimme, gimme. Maintenance, maybe buy some fuel, anything to repair, nothing. Cool. Still learning how to edit two things at the same time? What does that mean? When I look it up, it doesn't help. And it won't work. My Blender is either stupid or I am new. Or both. Blender has some bugs as well. You should be aware of them. Any ships available here? Ah, cool. A cheap one. A fix. From the 1920s. Not guilty. Guilty? Not Guilty is one of the newer lobster boats built. Okay, its unique feature is that it can hold a lobster pot under the roof of the starboard side. Oh, store them up here. Below my foot, but you can't see it. It's fine. And double trouble. A big combi boat. It can be rigged with long line or deep net. For lobsters. I'll just have to get used to Blender. Oh yes, if you're into 3D, if you like it, I mean, if you really like it, go for it. It's going to help you a lot. The basics of Blender translate excellent with every other. Whatever you learn in Blender is going to be like, if you learn Blender to perfection, it's going to take you maybe like 2 weeks to a month to relearn the commands or whatever in the others. It's not going to take long at all. The paid ones. You know. And you know, do smaller projects. Like do a little thing, then a bigger thing. Had a guy that I know that actually got hired. He started off learning Blender with an industrial scene. Let's say that. So he made the ground, then he made a hole, like a simple thing, then he made the light fixtures. Then he got, you know, more and more details in. Like chains and, I don't know, mechanisms. Then he played with lighting. Then he added 100 lights. Then he modified every... I don't know what that's called on the light. There's like the cone of the light. He modified even the cones of the light and the speckles of light and all sorts of... He went into depth into every little option that the program had. Every single little thing, you know. And then he would go to work and set the PC to render. He would come back, like 8 hours later, it would render 1 frame. And, continue adding stuff. I think at the end it would take it like 12 hours to render a single frame. It was insane. But I mean, yeah, that's dedication, that's how you get the job. Attention to details and stuff. Okay, let's get the hell out of here. There is a lot of lights, and it's a way to look at them, how they interact, and, you know, create different sorts of effects. But it was like a whole industrial area thing. It was huge. Gotta go. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, and, you know, continue working on your stuff. What the hell were we... Alright. So after this, we might even be able to buy this one. Yeah. Can buy an older boat, but this one has fishes and stuff. I think I can buy something like this in the other one as well. Let's see where the... Oh, there's a thing here. Some lobsters 7 days ago. Oh, okay. That was some of the lobsters I was talking about. This is on the way out. Might as well go here as well. Let's get out of here. Anything new on the map? Might need to go on this side as well at some point. And also get back to our buck. So what was it? He looked like an overfed owl with alopecia. Mr. Frank Cabell did. Cabell put one of his caterpillars to good use, raising it questioningly. It might be best to look a bit further afield, Tom. We've been covering our bases. Should the worst happen, we are not short of manpower. Thorne looked skeptical, but Keeble sounded confident. It's a big case, Tom. You know that. If you need the bodies to widen things out a bit, I can swing it. Oh. We found a thing. Yeah. The island. Okay. Excellent. Now, we could even drop a few pots along the way. So this was 7 days ago, 9 days ago. You know what? I'm going to drop some pots around here. Hell yeah. Around, let's say, here. Here. 15, 9, 7, maybe here. Excellent. Let's have them anyway, sir. It's an enormous list, but I'm sure he's local. The note. Thorne felt again the heavy rain that had crawled inside his shirt collar, trickled down between his shoulder blades. He could still sense the polyethylene between his fingers and thumb. as he read the killer's words while the water ran down into his eyes like tears coming home. The killer had known where Allison was being treated. He was obviously following the case closely. Theirs as well as hers. Yes, the note and the locations. I think he'd want to be around to keep his eye on things. Also, where is the goddamn music? Unavailable. Here is a YouTube audio library song unavailable. Yes, the note and the location. I think he wants to be around to keep an eye on things, to monitor his work. Is it worth putting a watch on the hospital? With respect, sir, the place is crawling with doctors. I can see the point at the minute. His eyes drifted to the calendar on the dirty yellow wall. Views of the West Country. Keeble was originally from Bristol. The heat was making it hard to concentrate. Thorn undid another button on his shirt. Polyester. Not clever. Is there any chance of moving that fan around a bit? Oh, sorry, Tom. Keeble flicked a switch on his black desktop fan, which started to swing backwards and forwards, providing Thorn with a welcome blast of cold air with every 30 seconds or so. Keeble leaned back in his chair and puffed out his cheeks. You don't think we're going to crack this, do you, Tom? Thorn closed his eyes as the fan swung back in his direction. Tom, is this about the Calvert case? Thorn looked at the calendar. 2 weeks now since they found Allison, and they were nowhere. 2 weeks of banging their heads against the wall and getting nothing but headaches. Concern, or what passed for it, creeped into Keeble's voice. Cases like this, it's completely understandable. Don't be silly, Frank. Keeble leaned forward quickly. In charge. I'm not insensitive to moods, Tom. This case has a taste of its own. It's not in the run of things. I can even sense it. Thorn laughed. Old colleagues. Even you, Frank? I'm in it, Tom. Calvert is ancient history. I hope so. I need you focused. And focused is not fixated. Keeble wasn't sure, but he thought that Thorn nodded. He continued as if the exchange had never happened. I think we'll make a case of it. We should be able to match up the note to the typewriter for a start. Keeble sighed and nodded. The old-fashioned typewriter was a bit of luck. A lot easier to identify than a laser printer, but still, they needed a suspect first. He'd been in the same position plenty of times. It was hard to sound enthusiastic about evidence which was only of any use when someone was in custody. The procedure had to be followed, but at the end of the day, they had to catch him first. Keeble knew that procedure was his strong point. He was a good facilitator. It was his self-awareness that had allowed him to leapfrog other officers, Thorn included. It was also ensured that those officers didn't resent it. He recognized the talents of others and the lack of them in himself. He was a forger of team spirit, and he liked it. He helped where he could and left at a job at the office at the end of the day. He slept well and had a happy marriage, unlike the other officers, Thorn included. He'll make a mistake, Tom. When we get a hit on the drugs theft, we can start narrowing things down a bit. Thorn leaned in close to the fan. I'd like to get over to Queen Square, if that's okay. It's been a while and I'd like to see how Allison's doing. Keeble nodded. This hasn't been his most successful attempt at the one-on-one morale building, but then he hadn't expected a backslap gag fest from Tom Thorn. He cleared his throat at Thorn, stood up, walked to the door, and then turned. That note was spotless, Frank. It was the shortest forensic report I've ever seen, and he doesn't wash the bodies in the ritualistic way. He's very, very careful. Keeble turned on the fan back on himself. He was unsure exactly what Thorn expected him to say. I've been wondering whether we should get the boys to chip in for some flowers or something. I mean, I thought about it, but Thorn nodded. Yes, sir, I know. It hardly seems worth it. Okay, we're making progress. Going to be to the lobster fields in no time. Then we'll do our little job and carry on. Hopefully there's going to be enough time for us to turn around as well and get the boss off to the wall. About this. I don't want stuff with lyrics while I'm reading. These are really lovely. It was a very nice thought. Alan Colburn finished arranging the flowers and closed the blinds on Allison's room. The sun was streaming in through the window, causing the girl's face to flush a little. I mean to come in sooner, I meant to come in sooner, but... She nodded, understanding. You could have written a note to say congratulations, though. Thorn looked down at Allison and immediately understood. It was difficult to notice one less machine amid the confusing of life-preserving hardware. She was breathing. The breaths were shallow, almost tentative, but they were her own. Now a tube ran into a hole in her windpipe, covered with an oxygen mask. She came out of the ventilator last night, and we performed the tracheotomy. Thorn was impressed. Exciting night. Oh, it's non-stop excitement in here. We had a small flood a while ago. Have you seen nurses in willies? Whaleys? I don't even know what that is. Willies, probably something like long boots. He grinned. I've seen the old doggy video. It was the first time he'd heard her laugh. It was filthy. Filthy laughter. Thorn nodded towards the flowers, which he'd picked up at the garage on the way in. They weren't quite as lovely as Anne Colborne had said. I felt like such an idiot last time, you know, whispering. If she can hear, I thought she must be able to smell too. Oh, she'll smell these. Suddenly, Thorn was aware again of the slickness of his arms. He turned to look at Allison. While you were on the subject... Sorry, Allison, I really must hum. He embarrassed at the silence where a response should have been. He hoped he would get used to talking to this woman with a tube in her neck and another one up her nose. She was able to clear her throat. She was unable to clear her throat. She was unable to lift the hand that lay pale and heavy on the pink flowery quilt. She was unable. And yet, selfishly, Thorn hoped that she thought well of him, that she liked him. He hoped to talk to her. Even now he sensed that he would need to talk to her. Just fill in the gaps yourself, Colburn said. It's what I do. We have some cracking charts. The door opened and an immaculately suited middle-aged man walked in with what at first glance appeared to be a candy floss on his head. Oh! Thorn saw Colburn's features harden in an instant. David. I'm busy, I'm afraid. They stared at each other. She broke the uncomfortable silence. This is Detective Inspector Thorn, David Higgins. The soon-to-be ex-husband, the helpful pathologist. Pleased to meet you. Thorn held out a hand, which the immaculate suit shook without looking at him or at Ellison. You did say that this would be a good time, said the suit, half smiling. He was obviously trying hard to be pleasant for Thorn's benefit, but clearly it did not come naturally. On further inspection, the candy floss was in reality a teased-up hairspray-dyed vanilla squiff, a ridiculous affectation in a man who was at least 55. He looked as if he had walked off the set of Dynasty. Well, it would have been, said Colburn frostily. My fault, Mr. Higgins, said Thorn. I didn't have an appointment. Higgins moved towards the door, adjusting his tie. Well, I'd better make sure I have an appointment in the future then. I'll call you later, Anne, and we'll arrange one. He closed the door soundlessly behind him. There was a muffled exchange outside, and the door was opened again by a nurse. It was time for Allison's bath. Allison Colburn turned to him. What do you usually do for lunch? I guess eat a sandwich. They sat in the back of a small sandwich bar at Southampton Row. Ham and brie on a baguette and mineral water. A cheese and tomato sandwich and a coffee. Two busy professionals. What are Allison's chances of regaining any significant? Nil, I'm afraid. I suppose it depends a little on your definition of significant, but we have to be realistic. There have been documented cases of patients regaining enough movement to operate a sophisticated wheelchair. They're doing a lot of work in the States with computer-operated headsticks, but realistically, it's a bleak prognosis. Wasn't there someone in France who dictated an entire book with an eyelash or something? Oh yes, there was. I didn't read the book, but there's an excellent movie made about that. It's a French movie. It is The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. You should read it. But it is a pretty much one-off. Allison's gaze reacts to voices, and she seems to have retained the ability to blink. But whether she has any real control over it is hard to say at the moment. I can't see her giving you a statement just yet. locked-in syndrome. I think that guy had a car accident in the diving bell and the butterfly. And he dictated his book, but I think he died pretty shortly after. There are all sorts of complications when you can't move. Problems start to add up. That wasn't the reason I asked. It wasn't the only reason. Thorn took an enormous bite of his sandwich. Anne had done most of the talking, but had already finished hers. She looked at him, narrowing her eyes, her voice conspiratorial. Conspiratorial. There we go. Well, you've been privy to my disastrous domestic situation. What about yours? She took a sip of mineral water and watched him chew, her eyebrows arched theatrically. She laughed as twice he tried to answer and twice had to resume his efforts to swallow the sandwich. What you mean? Is it disastrous? No, just... is there one? Thorn could not get a fix on this woman at all. A vicious temper, a filthy laugh, and a direct line of questioning. There seemed little point in going around the houses. I've moved effortlessly from disastrous to just plain bleak. Is that the normal progression? I think so. Sometimes there is a short period of pitiful, but not always. Oh well, I'll look forward to that. Thorn watched as she reached into her bag for a cigarette. She held up the package. Do you mind? Thorn said no, and she lit up. She stared as she blew the smoke out the side of her mouth, away from him. It had been a long time since his last cigarette. More doctors smoke than you imagine, and a surprising number of oncologists. I'm amazed that more of us aren't smackheads, to be honest. That means there are a couple of smackheads. Do you not, then? Thorn shook his head. A policeman who doesn't smoke. You must like a drink, then. He smiled. I thought you worked too many hours to watch television. She groaned with pleasure as she took a long drag. Ooh, did we end up... Oh, we're here. We are here, that's the thing. So she groaned with pleasure as she took a drag. And we'll stay there while we do some fishing. Some lobster. Yes. Right on. I just realized we stopped moving. I must be getting used to the motion. Okay, so let's take this direction. Autopilot, not maximum this time. This time is going to be how about that? 7.5. Hopefully we'll get back in time for them. Keep it open, please. I guess we could have the speed. Let's put it up to 10. So we set them faster. Should be fine. Just need to make sure we get back in 20 hours. That's like the only worrying thing. Getting back in time. Ooh. Never had bait look like that. It's usually like this. I guess I was just seeing the three fishes that have their things sticking out. Oh, I didn't get a thing. Let's put this one back. The question is, who catches these bait fish? That is the real question. And last one. You can see most of them sort of in a line. There we go. Set up all the things. Let's close that. Don't want the base to spoil. And we should go. What was this thing here? Maximum speed. go between those. We came through here, went there, let's go there. Play some pots. Gaining some knots there. There we go. It's going to be more annoying getting them back, especially if they're empty. If they're empty, it's going to be really annoying. So she will groan with pleasure as she took a long drag. Yes. Yes. Thorn spoke softly, but was still smiling when he answered the question. I like more than one. I'm glad to hear it. But that's pretty much it as far as cliches go. I'm not religious, I hate opera, I can't finish a crossword to save my life. By the end of this book, he's going to finish a crossword. You must be driven then, or haunted. Is that the word? Thorn tried to hold the smile in place, and even managed to produce a chuckle of sorts as he turned away and looked towards the counter. When he caught the eye of the woman at the till, he held up his coffee cup, signaling for another. So, does desperate or bleak involve children? Thorn turned back around. No. You? Her smile was huge and as contagious as smallpox. 1. Rachel. 16 and big trouble. 16? Thorn raised his eyebrow. Do women still get upset if you ask how old they are? She poked an eyebrow on the elbow on the table and leaned her chin on her palm, trying her best to look severe. This one does. Sorry. Thorn tried his best to look concrete. How much do you weigh? She laughed loudly. Not filthy. Positively salacious. Thorn laughed too, and grinned at the waitress as his second cup of coffee arrived. It had barely touched the table when Colburn's beeper went off. She looked at it, stubbed out her cigarette, and grabbed her bag from the floor. I may not be a smackhead, but I do an awful lot of indigestion tablets. Tablets. I do an awful lot of indigestion tablets. So she's a smackhead for indigestion tablets. Yeah. Thorn lifted his jacket from the back of his chair. I'll walk you back. On the way towards Queen Square, things became oddly formal again. Small talk about Indian summers gave way to an awkward silence before they were halfway there. When they reached her office, Thorn hovered in the doorway. He felt like he should go, but she held up her hand to stop him as she made a quick call. The bleep had not been urgent. So how is the investigation going? Thorn stepped into the office and closed the door. He had thought this was coming over lunch. His capacity to bullshit members of the public had once been endless, but he spent so much time exercising this particular skill on superior officers that he couldn't be bothered trying it on those who hadn't no axe to grind. It's a bleak prognosis. She smiled. Every day there's some stupid story in the paper about armed robbers tunneling into the shop next door to the building society, or burglars falling asleep in houses they've broken into. But the simple fact is that most people who break the law give serious thought to not getting done for it. With murderers, you've got a chance if it's domestic, or when there is sex involved. She leaned back in her chair and took a sip from a glass of water. Thorne watched her. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a speech. No, I'm interested, really. Any sort of sexual compulsion can make people sloppy. They take chances and eventually they slip up. I just can't see this bloke slipping up. Whatever has been driving him isn't sexual. Her eyes were suddenly flat and cold. Isn't it? Not physically. He's perverse, but what she's doing is grotesque. There was a matter of factness about the statement that Thorne had no argument with. What shook him was her use of the present tense. There were those who thought or hoped, and by Christ he hoped, that perhaps there'd be no need for new pictures on the wall, but he knew better. Whatever mission this man thought he was on, whatever it was that he hoped to achieve, he was actually stalking women and killing them in their own homes. And he was enjoying himself. Thorne could feel himself start to redden. There was no conventional pattern to this. The ages of victims seemed unimportant to him, as long as they were available. He just picks these women out. When he doesn't get what he wants, he just leaves them. Shiny and scrubbed and slumped in a chair or lying on a kitchen floor, or their loved ones to stumble across. Nobody sees anything. Nobody knows anything. Except Allison. The awkward silence descended again, more stiffing than the air trapped inside the tiny office. Thorne felt the resort of his outburst bouncing off the walls like a sluggish bullet. There was none of the usual irritation when his mobile phone rang. He grabbed for it gratefully. I guess Detective Inspector Nick Tuggan ran the backhand office, an organizer and collaborator of information, another embracer of procedure. This smooth Dublin bloke could calm and persuade senior officers. Unlike Frank Kebble, though, Tuggan had the self-awareness of a tree stump, and little time for characters like Tom Ford. The way the operation had been going up to now meant that it was very much his show, and he ran it with an unflappable efficiency. He had never lost his temper. We've got a fairly major midazolam theft. 2 years ago, Leicester Royal Infirmary. 5 grams missing. Thorpe reached across the desk for a piece of paper and a pen. Anne pushed the pad towards him. He began to scribble down the details. Maybe there had been a slip-up after all. Right. Let's send Holland up to Leicester. Or Leicester. Get all the details and we'll need a list of everyone on rotation from, say, 97 onwards. 96 onwards. Already sorted. It's been faxed though. Whoa! What the hell? We've run aground. Thanks, autopilot. Holy hell! Sustained heavy damage. How the hell did we end up on this shore? This fast? Oh man, we're truly stuck. This is why you don't read books. I suppose... Didn't we have that thing to rescue us? You're entering shallow. Oh! Ah! The boat is sinking. You should call a rescue service. Oh, it's not sinking, but... How the hell do we call the rescue service? It's, we've got massive damage. We're at 0 health now. Oh damn, how the hell did we end up so close to this? It usually doesn't let you. It doesn't even let you put them this close. I mean, it doesn't let you... Fishy. Fishy. Rescue. Your boat is destroyed. Luckily you have rescue service. We now cost to return to the nearest port, Yacht. It would have been hilarious if the other port was the nearest port. We'll have to buy the page flipper again. Can't I just repair? Boat isn't damaged. Oh, that was the cost, 10k. Okay. Okay. Oh, we are now in the no Yankee again. I guess every new boat like this is a new no Yankee. Ah, the damage was off the charts there. I mean, he just ran aground. Like a lot. But, yeah. It would have been hilarious if the nearest port would have been that one. Or this one. Would have gotten there faster. Do we even have the upgrades on this? At this speed, I don't think so. Oh yes, and because we're in the mission, we can't. Let's go get our engine upgrade. I think we have the money. I shouldn't have gone so close to the... I think we can even hit boats if that happens. Very interesting. Okay, stop. Shipyard available. Oh, there's even cheaper ones we can buy. Cheaper ones for fish, I mean. Interesting. The Björg. Oh right, because we found this one is a later find. Lenore. See this like the rig? Just not the rig though. Okay, whatever. Upgrades. Engine. Ooh, we can barely buy the engine. Man, losing all those upgrades is annoying. That's the most annoying part. Losing all the upgrades. No more sonars, no more nothing. Do we still have the... Yeah, we still have the pots. A day. Yeah, pots are ruined as well. Excellent! I don't know why they show them green. Let's get the engine now. What can we do? Or I guess a better engine. And we're going to lose all our money. We're going to have to do it now if we want to buy more. Oh, we don't even have autopilot. Terrible autopilot. You ruined us. Yeah, we're running out of money as well. We don't need fish sonar. The buoys though we like. Guess we'll get one engine. The engine that we can get. It's night as well. Excellent. Still have more than 10 days to deliver the thing. Oh, I should... yeah. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. I should have turned on the rescue thing before destroying it. I thought I could back up. That was my idea. I thought I could just back up. Oh well. It said something about me being able to buy it back somewhere, but I don't know about that. But we don't even have the... maximum speed once again, whatever maximum is. We'll run into boats if we want to. It's a lighthouse. Yeah, I should have been further away from land, but I didn't think it would have been a problem. But it was. Oh well. At least we found that boat we could go fishing with. It's only 10k. While we were exploring and stuff. I'll be able to go get some fishies with a schmurly boat. Where in the hell? Where do we put the thing? Yeah, we'll go more to this out to sea for sure. Not that we're going to be making it this run. Yeah. So the theft, the thing, the midazolam. Thorn reached across the desk for a piece of paper and a pen, and pushed the pad towards him. He began to scribble down the details. Maybe there had been a slip-up after all. Right. Let's send Holland up to Leicester. Get all the details, and we'll need a list of everyone on rotation from, say, 97 onwards. 96 onwards, already sorted. It's been faxed through. Tuggan was well ahead of him and thoroughly enjoying it. Thorn knew that he would have what would have done next. Obvious question then. Any matches? A couple in Southend and half a dozen in London, but there's an interesting one. Works at the Royal London. Interesting was right. Anne Colburn had spotted it straight away. Working on the assumption that Ellison had been attacked in her home, then why the Royal London? Why not the nearest hospital? Thorn took up the name, kept the compulsory, if distasteful backslapping brief, and hung up. Sounded like good news. She didn't apologize for eavesdropping. Thorn was starting to like her more and more. He stood up and reached for his jacket. Let's hope so. 5 grams of midazolam. Isn't that a lot? That's a hell of a lot. We use anywhere up to 5 milligrams to sedate an average-sized adult. That's intravenously, of course. She stood up and moved around the desk to see him. As she walked to the door, she glanced at the scrap of paper which Thorn had not yet picked up and stopped dead in her tracks. Let's zoom out the... I don't see the the minimap when we're in the thing. You don't see it at all because there's my foot there, but yeah. You don't need to see it. I need to see it. Oh God! She reached for it just as Thorn did. He should have never have let her see it, but a tussle would have been unseemly. What harm could it do? He opened the door. Is this man your match, Detective Inspector? She moved back to her side of the desk and sat down heavily. I'm sorry, Doctor. I'm sure you understand. I can't really... I know him, she said. I know him extremely well. Thorn hovered in the doorway. This was starting to get awkward. Procedure dictated that he leave straight away and send someone back to get a statement. He waited for her to continue. Yes, he certainly worked in Leicester, but there's no way he would have anything to do with stealing drugs, Doctor. And he's got something of a chest iron alibi as far as Ellison what did I call her? Willett's concerned. Thorn shut the door. He was listening. Jeremy Bishop was an busiest on call at the Royal London, A&E at night, Allison was brought in. He treated her, don't you remember? I told you I know him. He told me about the midazolam. Thorne blinked slowly. Dead Susan, dead Christine, dead Madeleine. Come on, Tommy. You must have something going on. He opened his eyes. She was shaking her head. She'd seen the date on the piece of paper. I'm sorry, Detective Inspector, but much as you dislike Detective Constable Holland... Thorne opened his mouth and closed it again. It's a waste of time to send him to Leicester. The man you're looking for is certainly clever, but there is no guarantee he ever worked at Leicester Royal Infirmary. Thorne dropped his bag and sat down again. Why am I starting to feel like Dr. Watson? August on the 1st is rotation day. Normally, it would be a reasonable assumption that in order to steal a large quantity of drugs from a hospital, you'd have to work there, yes. Hospital staff are overstretched and occasionally inefficient, but as far as dangerous drugs are concerned, there is a procedure in place. Thorne's favorite word again. But on a rotation day, things can be a bit lax. I worked in hospitals there. You could walk up, pushing a bed and carrying a kidney machine on August the 1st. I'm sorry, but whoever took these drugs could have come from anywhere. Susan, Christine, Madeleine. Something, Tommy, a lead, something. Thorne took up his phone to call Tuggum back. It was Helen Doyle's first round of drinks, but already she was worrying about how much she'd spent. A few designer bottles and a couple of rum and cokes, and it was 3 times what she earned in an hour. Sod it. It was Nina's birthday, and she didn't do this very often. She loaded the drinks on the tray and looked across to where her mates were sitting at a corner table. She'd known 3 of them since school, and the other 2 almost that long. The pub wasn't busy, and the few people in there were probably pissed off with the noise they were making. On cue, the gang began to laugh. Joe's high-pitched crackle, the loudest of all. Probably another one of Andrea's filthy jokes. Helen walked softly back to the table, the other girls cheering when she put the tray down, diving on their drinks as they were the first of the night. Didn't you get any crips? Forgot, sorry. Dizzy bitch. Tell her the joke. How much fucking ice has he put in here? Helen took a swig and looked at the label on the bottle. He didn't actually say what it was. She got through plenty already. Hooch, mez, breezers. She was never really sure what she was drinking, what the booze was. But she liked the colors, and she felt fashionable with the slim, cold bottle in her hand. Sophisticated. Nina drank half a rum and coke. Joe emptied the remains of a pint of a lager and belched loudly. What do you drink those for? It's like poop. No, it's like pop. There's a difference between poop and pop. Helen felt herself blush. I like the taste. It's not supposed to taste nice, that's the point. Nina and Lizzie laughed. Helen shrugged and took another swig. Andrea nudged her. Like you know that. There was a groan. Joe struck 2 fingers down her throat. Helen knew that they were talking about, but part of her wished they didn't. Sex was pretty much all Andrea ever talked about. Tell us how long his cock was again, Joe? We're entering +18 Predatory. It's fine, nobody watches this. Nobody watches this thing anyway. The strippergram had been Andrea's idea. Strippergram. And Nina had seemed to like it. Helen thought it was really fit, all covered in oil, and he made her so very red. But the poem about Nina hadn't been that good. Oh, that's a strippergram. Right. A stripper comes and it's like a telegram, but with a stripper. I was confused there for a moment. She could tell that he'd been as embarrassed as her when Joe grabbed his crotch, and for a second he looked really upset. Then he'd smiled and grabbed his clothes off the floor while everybody whistled and cheered. Helen had whistled and cheered too, but she wished she'd been a bit more pissed. Big enough? More than a mouthful, a waist. More than a mouthful's a waist. Helen leaned across to Lizzie's. How's work? She was probably closest to Lizzie, but they hadn't spoken properly all night. Shit. I'm going to check it in. Or something or something. Right. Helen loved her job. The money was poor, but the people were nice, and even though she had to give her mom and dad a bit, it was still cheap living at home. She couldn't see the sense in moving out, not until she met someone. What was the point in renting a grotty flat like Joe or Nina? Andrea still loved living at home anyway. God only knows where she was having all the sex she was always on about. Let Me Entertain You came on the jukebox. It was one of her favorite songs. She nodded her head to the rhythm and sang the words quietly to herself. She remembered a fifth form disco and a boy with a earring and sad brown eyes and cider on his breath. When the chorus came, the rest of the girls joined in and Helen shut up. The bell rang and the barman shouted something incomprehensible. Andrea and Joe were all for another round. Helen grinned, but she knew she should be getting back. She would feel bad in the morning as her dad would be waiting for her. She was starting to feel woozy and knew that she had gone home. She should have gone home and had her tea before she came out. She could have changed too. She felt frumpy and self-conscious in her work shirt and sensible blouse. She'd grab a bag of chips on the way home, a piece of fish for her dad. Andrea stood up and announced that they all put in for one more. Helen cheered along with the rest of them, drained the bottle, and reached into her purse for a couple of pounds of coins. Like 10 more pages for this chapter that I'm not going to read. But I'll put a mark here. I'll put my Reader's Digest subscribe today and save 71% mark. Maybe we'll read more on Steam. Probably not. It's night and we can't see a damn thing. Oh, they'll be surely gone by the time I get back. Surely gone, sir. Move this closer to the coast. I'm sure that's fine. Not positive. Should do it like this. Yeah, I think I was going between those with the autopilot. I think that's about enough for today. Yeah. We ruined our boat. These runs are kind of silly. The game forcing you to actually stay in this mode for 2 hours. Yikes. And if you go away from your computer, you might bump into something. Not cool, game. Not cool. Anyway, bye-bye.